Can I just go back to the beginning? You didn't start singing when you were sort of a small child, did you? It was a slow process to get into it.
I did start singing as a child, but I didn't think I'd become a professional singer. I mean, I sang in choirs, and I used to be the person who would sing the solo in the school concert. But then I got my big school. I got into German song a lot, and I did put on recitals at University of German Song, and then it gradually sort of snowballed into having a singing career. Yeah.
But you thought you might be an academic.
Yes, that was my original plan. Yeah, I was an academic for. I didn't leave university till I was 30, so that's a long time.
That's quite an unusual path into music, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people feel that you've got to be a sort of child prodigy, and then.
I think with singing it's very different. I mean, it's interesting being here at the Menuhin School because this is obviously the place where prodigies come to be sort of polished. But it's singers. I mean, there is a tradition of prodigious singing, but it's a very 18th century thing, and I think it's rather lost now. I mean, people used to be trained as singers in the household of their singing teacher. It used to be a much more virtuosic, schooled thing, more like violin playing or piano playing. But now quite a lot of people have become singers quite late.
And actually, when you started singing, you didn't even necessarily have all the technical training. You just wanted to do it.
I still don't have the technical training, so I have to get by.
Well, it sounds like you're doing more than getting by.
Yeah.
Do you think actually perhaps just coming to it later, you can bring more of yourself to it? You have your own style.
I mean, I'm glad I came to it later because it gives me other things to think about. But then I meet people who did it early, and they find different things at different times. People's lives are different, but it shows that there are different ways of coming to the musical world, I think. But it is I think it's difficult, and it is difficult now for instrumentalists because they really do have to. The pressure is on. I mean, I have a few friends who started late. He started at a couple of pianist friends who started seriously at sort of 12, and that's terrible because you really should start at 4. So it's a big commitment for instrumentalists very early on.
And then, of course, you've got the challenge, once you obviously have the talent and you can perform, it's actually how you handle the lifestyle of being an opera singer.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a real mix of stuff. Opera singing has never been my sort of main thing. I've done maybe on average 1 opera a year. But I do when you get to my age, you look back and you see that the thing, it's not exactly like the Hare and the Tortoise, but being able to cope with it over a long period of time is the thing. You quite often see people who manage for a couple of years and have amazing voices, but it's not just about having an amazing voice. It's not just about having an amazing. I mean, in my case, the voice is not particularly the thing, but it's about coping with the whole thing, I think. Yeah.
It's the whole lifestyle. It's the pressure.
Yeah.
It's the being away from home.
Sort of consistency and confidence, and Yeah.
And how do you feel now? I mean, obviously, you sat down here and just seemed so casual and just started singing as if it was nothing. I mean, it's extraordinary how you seem to do it so easily.
I'm used to sort of singing at parties, so. But it's a strange time at the moment because I'm not. I mean, I haven't sung. This year I've sung maybe 5 concerts, and we're already nearly in May. Normally I would have sung 30 concerts by now. So in some ways it's good resting your instrument. In other ways you lose the routining. So it's a funny time. It's quite stressful not doing enough.
And what drew you to the partnership with Shui Fei?
We were introduced really because we were both Shui Fei and I. We were both with this record company that used to be called EMI Classics. It was the most famous British classical music company. That's how it really started, and then we've done a lot of things since. And
the Benjamin Britten, I mean, you obviously love that. The fact that it's his Chinese songs, that seems to make sense, doesn't it, with a Chinese guitarist? How do you feel doing that?
I mean, I know that these are all poems I've got 2 good Chinese musician friends, Fei and a pianist called Wen Wendu, and these poems are both familiar to them. So it's nice to be doing great literature in music, and these aren't done so often, but I think they're some of Britain's most successful songs, and he is one of the great song composers. I mean, he's really he's certainly the greatest song composer of the second half of the 20th century in the classical tradition. Possibly he's up there in the top top sort of 5 of the whole 20th century.
And is there a moment in any of those songs that you particularly relish when you're singing?
It's always fun to get to the last one about the unicorn, which is, alas for the unicorn, alas for the unicorn. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.